Good day, and welcome to the Noah Holdings fourth quarter 2021 earnings conference call. All participants will be in a listen-only mode. Should you need assistance, please signal a conference specialist by pressing the star key followed by 0. After today's presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. To ask a question, you may press star, then 1 on a touch-tone phone. To withdraw your question, please press star, then 2. Please note, this event is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Chairlady Wang. Please go ahead.
谢谢。今天电话会议的议程，我想先谈谈对宏观的看法，再汇报一下诺亚2021年的整体业绩和几大板块的发展情况。接着请潘青为大家介绍年度财务信息，最后是互动问答。回顾过去一年，我们再次体验了金融市场的复杂和周期性。在中国，财富管理和资管行业已经范式转型，产业变迁、经营生态与特色定位都和过去不同，行业迎来了商业模式的演进拐点，宽松的监管周期落幕，销售导向成为过往。国内私人银行给客户提供的底层资产，由地产贷向净值化基金迁徙，拥抱权益产品的大时代。我们相信，必须以客户思维取代销售思维，才能够立足于竞争。投资者和从业者逐步成熟，人口老龄化和居民财富的增加推动行业继续增长，这些都表明中国的财富管理行业在稳步稳健的发展。同时，全球范围内长期的量化宽松政策以及流动性的充裕，已经造成了巨大的风险资产的巨大通货在膨胀，通货膨胀已经渗透到每个角落，量化宽松政策的逆转即将到来。很多行业的监管模式和市场估值都开始发生改变。过去10年，中国经济取得了令人瞩目的高增长，但也存在令市场担心的4大结构性问题：影子银行、房地产失衡、地方融资平台、两高一剩等。经过长期但坚定的调整，我们看到，在2020年，过去央行担心的影子银行、房地产、地方政府的隐形负债等等，应该说已经被纠正。中国的稳增长与调结构的宏观战略取得了较好的成效。2022年，中国经济进一步回归实体，制造业迭代升级，工业竞争力明显提升，中小企业主体继续保持活跃度和低税率等等。无论是在制造业、出口和关键的供应链，都表现了较强的韧性和活力。中国的民营企业更注重高质量发展，开始在管理中求效益。这些发现都让我们对于中国经济和市场充满信心。正在发生的俄乌战争令人担忧，在这个过程中可以确定的是，市场将持续的波动。我们从理解市场的金融需求和财富来源的角度，在2022年诺亚 CIO 办公室的策略报告中，建议财富管理的客户采取先保护再增长的策略。首先是积极检查自己和家族的资产配置情况，做好资产保护和资产保障，进一步平衡全球的资产配置，考虑长期仍然是货币超发以及通胀的情况。在二级市场，以有对冲多策略组合的配置为主。在一级市场，对于硬科技方面的跨周期早期投资提升关注度的策略。
On today's conference call, first, I'd like to talk about my observation of the microenvironment, then report on Noah's overall results in 2021 and performances of major business segments. Our CFO, Mr. Pan Qing, will then introduce detailed annual financial results of the company, followed by a Q&A session. Looking back on the past year, we once again experienced the complexity and periodicity of the financial market. In China, the wealth management and asset management industries have undergone paradigm transformation. The industrial changes, business ecology, and characteristic positioning are different from those in the past. The industry has ushered in an inflection point in the evolution of business model. The loose supervision cycle ended, and the sales orientation became the past. The underlying assets provided by domestic private banks to clients migrated from real estate bonds to NAV-based funds, embracing the era of equity products. We believe that we must replace the sales mindset with a client-centric one in order to survive the competition. Investors and practitioners have been gradually maturing. The aging population and the increase of resident wealth is helping the continuous growth of the industry. All these developments show that China's wealth management industry is developing steadily and healthily. At the same time, the inflation of risky assets is prevalent across the globe due to the quantitative easing policy and surplus of liquidity that have persisted for a long time. The reversal of quantitative easing will change regulatory models and market valuations of many industries. Over the past 10 years, China's economy has achieved remarkable growth, but there are also certain major structural issues that concerns the market. Shadow banking, real estate imbalance, financing platform, industry with overcapacity, as well as resource industries with high pollution and high energy consumption. After a long-term but firm adjustment, we can see that in 2022, the shadow banking, real estate, and government invisible liabilities that the central bank worried about in the past have been corrected. China's micro-strategy of steady growth and structural adjustment has achieved good results. In 2022, China's economy will further return to real economy. The manufacturing industry will be upgraded iteratively. The industrial competitiveness will be significantly improved. Small and medium-sized enterprises will continue to be active and enjoy a low tax rate. Manufacturing, export, and key supply chains have shown strong resilience and vitality. China's private enterprises pay more attention to high-quality development and begin to seek benefits in management. These findings allow us to have full confidence in China's economy and the market. While the ongoing Russian-Ukraine war is worrying, we can be sure that in this process, the market will continue to fluctuate. From the perspective of understanding the financial needs and wealth sources of the market, in the first strategy report of NOAA CIO office in 2022, we plan to suggest our wealth management clients to adopt the strategy of protection before growth. First of all, actively check the asset allocation of themselves and their family, and make sure of asset protection and asset safeguard. Secondly, further balance their global asset allocation and consider the long-term situation of excessive currency issuance and inflation. In the secondary market, primarily utilizes multi-strategy portfolio allocation strategy. In the primary market, adopts the strategy to pay more attention to the cross-cycle early investment in hard technology.
2021年，诺亚进一步成功地完成了非标转标的产品转型，优化了客户端的大类资产配置，推动了组织内部从产品驱动到以客户为中心的变革。虽然受到疫情的影响，全年净收入、非通用会计准则、净利润、钻石和黑卡核心客户数、活跃客户数全部创出了历史新高。2021年全年，诺亚整体实现销售净收入 42.9 亿元人民币，同比增长 29.9%， 录得归属于股东的非 GAAP 净利润 13.7 亿元人民币，同比增长 21.5%， 超过全年的盈利指引 14.4%。 疫情在继续，市场有波动，但是我们的收入和利润均创下了历史新高。我们相信所有的商业成功都离不开客户对我们的信任。诺亚的资产配置规模为 AUA 为2800亿人民币左右，其中超过 85% 是有锁定期的私募股权和私募证券产品。按地区来看，海外板块的净收入 10.1 亿元人民币，同比增长 38.6%， 比2019年年底增长了 6.9%， 恢复到了疫情前的水平。其中募集费同比增长 42.9%， 管理费同比增长 4.4%， 业绩报酬收入同比增长 242.9%， 海外资产配置规模达到了143亿，同比大增 60%， 资产管理规模 283.8 亿元人民币，比2020年年底增长 13.8%， 占集团总 AUM 的 18.2%。非常感谢诺亚的海外同仁们在疫情的影响下创造了优秀的成绩。
In 2021, NOAA made a great step forward to successfully transform from non-standardized products to NAV-based products and further optimize the asset allocation for clients. We also internally and structurally promoted the transformation from product-driven to client-centric. Despite the impact of the epidemic, Noah still achieved unprecedented growth in terms of net revenues, non-GAAP net income, the number of Black Card and Diamond Card clients, and the number of active clients in 2021. Throughout the year 2021, Noah achieved net revenues of renminbi 4.3 billion, an increase of 30% year-on-year, and achieved a non-GAAP net income attributable to shareholders of renminbi 1.4 billion, an increase of 22% year-on-year, which is also 14.4% higher than the annual guidance. Despite the effects of the epidemic and volatilities in the market, our net revenues and net income both hit record highs. We believe that our success of business is inseparable from the trust of our clients. Currently, Noah's asset under advisory is approximately renminbi 280 billion, over 85% of which are private equity and private secondary products with lock-up periods. With respect to the overseas market, in 2021, we reported a net revenue of renminbi 1 billion, a 38.6% growth year-on-year and a 7% growth compared with 2019, indicating the performance of the overseas market has rebounded to the pre-epidemic level. One-time commissions, management fees, and performance-based income increased by 43%, 4.4%, and 243% year-on-year. Overseas transaction value reached renminbi 14.3 billion, a big increase of 61% year-on-year. The overseas AUM was renminbi 28.4 billion, accounting for 18.2% of the total AUM of the group, representing an increase of 14% from the end of 2020. Thank Noah's overseas colleagues for their outstanding achievements under the influence of the epidemic.
在核心业务数据方面，财富管理板块净收入达到了 31.9 亿，同比增长 35%， 金融产品募集量为972亿元人民币，同比微增 2.6%， 其中私募股权募集量达到 180.7 亿元人民币，同比微增 1.1%。 标准化产品中的私募证券基金产品全年募集量达到了 377.8 亿， 同比增长 7.4%。 公募基金新增募集量全年达到了 371.7 亿元，同比略降 2.1%。 而受到下半年市场波动下客户避险情绪的影响，保险等其他综合服务的产品募集量达到了 41.9 亿，同比大增 35.1%。 2021年，诺亚的高净值客户群体不断的拓展并保持了高的活跃度，年度活跃客户数超过 4.2 万人，同比增长 25%， 含公募基金。黑卡客户数全年增长 37.9%， 钻石客户数量全年增长 13.9%， 钻黑合计增长 18.2%， 超出了我们的预期。这三项主要的客户数据均再次刷新了历史新高，体现了以客户为中心的变革在客户端得到了回应，营销端的变革导向协同的展业，专业分工的铁三角服务模式提升了服务品质，增加了客户粘性。2021年，我们也上线了公募基金机构通微笑私库的平台产品，这是一个连接中小企业的 SaaS 平台，为他们量身打造便捷的线上现金管理的私库服务，提高企业资金的投资和运营效率，满足企业流动资金管理的需求。截止2021年底，已经上线了市场上 95% 的公募基金产品和 90% 的公募管理人，服务者来自包括地产、金融、科技14个行业的机构客户。
In terms of core business data, the net revenue of wealth management segment reached 3.2 billion RMB, up 35% year-on-year. The transaction value of financial products was RMB 97.2 billion, a slight increase of 2.6% year-on-year, among which private equity was 18.1 billion, up 1.1% year-on-year. Private secondary funds in standardized products was 37.8 billion, up 7.4% year-on-year. Mutual funds was 37.2 billion, a slight decrease of 2.1% year-on-year, affected by the risk aversion of clients on the market fluctuations in the second half of the year. The transaction value of other comprehensive services such as insurance products reached 4.2 billion, a year-on-year increase of 35%. In 2021, the high net worth clients of Noah continued to grow and remained active. The number of total active clients, including mutual fund only clients, exceeded 42,000 people, up 25% year-on-year. The aggregate number of Black Card and Diamond Card clients increased by 18.2% in the year, of which the number of Black Card clients increased by 38% and Diamond Card clients increased by 14%, a growth that exceeded our expectations. The fact that the three main categories of clients number reached record high again indicated our client-centric transform has been well received by our clients. The transformation of our marketing strategy gave birth to the Noah Triangle service model, which focuses on coordinated business development and professional specialization. It's proved to be effective in upgrading our service quality and enhancing client stickiness. In 2021, we also launched Smile Treasury, a SaaS platform to connect small and medium-sized enterprises and allow them to buy mutual funds with tailored treasury services for convenient online cash management, with the aim to help improve the investment and operating efficiency of corporate cash and to satisfy their needs for working capital management. By the end of 2021, Smile Treasury covers 95% of the mutual funds and 90% of the mutual fund managers in the market, serving institutional clients from 14 industries, including real estate, finance, and technology.
资产管理板块全年净收入达到 10.4 亿元人民币，同比增长 19%。歌飞资产管理规模微增 2.1%， 达到了 1560.3 亿，结构继续优化。其中私募股权的管理规模为 1309.1 亿元人民币，同比增长 11.2%。公开市场的管理规模为 111.7 亿元人民币，同比增长 13.4%。房地产的管理规模为 66.4 亿元人民币，含美国出租公寓的地产基金，同比下降 47.5%。资产结构持续优化，更加健康，符合预期。在公开市场方面，截至2021年底，歌飞的标准化产品交出了稳健的投资业绩，其中歌飞大趋势 MOM 年化收益为 14.2%， 超过同期基准收益率 9%， Top 30年化收益率为 12.5%， 超过同期基准收益 4.5%， 海外精选美元基金年化收益为 16.2%， 超过同期基准收益 10.5%。 值得一提的是，歌飞的财富底仓产品目标策略成立于8月的稳健，成立于4月的平衡和积极型3个策略，分别在2021年达到了 1.1%、4.9%、5.4% 的累计收益，在市场的震荡中为客户资产发挥了控制波动及回撤的效果。在私募股权方面，歌飞继续推进 FOF、S 基金和跟投基金。5基金组合布局前沿科技进步的科技和医疗子基金，通过230多个子基金投资了7000多家公司。S 基金2021年蝉联世界母基金协会全球前20最佳 S 基金的奖项，直投和跟投重点配置早期金融科技、消费、科技和医疗项目。歌飞硅谷的 VC 基金和歌飞纽约的地产基金在2021年都有大规模的退出，并取得了优异的投资回报。歌飞投研体系的建设也初见成效，完成了团队组建，包含了基金研究、宏观策略和行业组。歌飞全球主动管理的基金产品都开始实施产品端的 IPD 的流程。
The asset management business reported a net revenue of RMB 1.04 billion, an increase of 19% year-on-year. Gopher's AUM increased slightly by 2%, reaching RMB 156 billion, with continued optimized asset mix. To be specific, the AUM of private equity was RMB 131 billion, up 11% year-on-year. Public securities was RMB 11 billion, up 13.4% year-on-year, while real estate assets decreased by 48% year-on-year to 6.6 billion, including U.S. rental apartment funds. Gopher's asset structure has been continuously optimized, now healthier and in line with expectations. For public securities, by the end of 2021, Gopher's standardized products have delivered steady investment performance. Among them, the annual return of Gopher Megatrend MOM Manager of Managers Fund was 14.2%, exceeding the benchmark return rate by 9% during the same period. Gopher's top 30 fund of hedge funds posted an annual return of 13%, beating the benchmark rate by 4.5% during the same period. Gopher's overseas selected US dollar funds annual return rate was 16%, exceeding the benchmark by 10.5% during the same period. It is worth mentioning that Gopher's Wealth Stabilizer product target strategy, with its stable strategy launched in August, balanced and positive strategies launched in April 2021, achieved cumulative returns of 1.1%, 4.9%, and 5.4% respectively by the end of 2021, effectively limited fluctuations and controlled pullbacks amid market volatilities for clients. In terms of private equity, Gopher continued to promote the establishment and investments of fund of funds as secondary funds and co-investment funds. Fund of funds lays out capital in cutting-edge technology and healthcare sub-funds, with more than 7,000 underlying companies through more than 230 sub-funds. Secondary funds have been ranked as one of the top 20 best secondary funds in the world by Global Fourth Association for the second consecutive year in 2021. Gopher's direct and co-investment funds mainly focus on areas such as early-stage fintech, consumer, technology, and pharmaceutical projects. Gopher Silicon Valley's venture capital funds and Gopher New York's real estate funds have achieved large-scale successful exits from certain projects in 2021 with excellent investment returns. Gopher has constructed an effective investment research system and team composed of fund research team, micro-strategy research team, and industry research team. A product and integrated product development process has been implemented for all funds managed by Gopher around the world.
2021年，我们按照规划的战略方向，完成了全集团包含理财师端的认知资格的变革，大幅提升了一线理财师的固定薪酬。公司持续的在客户界面、科技系统、投资研究3个方面进行战略的投入。2021年对核心客群的投入带来了赚回客户增长，令我们很受鼓舞。客户的存续服务体验也获得了提升。2022年，我们将持续的投到核心客群的发展、重点城市、科技能力和投资研究能力的建设，在保持合理利润增长的前提下，为诺亚长期健康可持续的发展铺好土壤。诺亚自2014年起连续7年发布可持续发展报告，在第4届进博会上荣获国家工信部优秀企业社会责任报告最高的 AAA 的评级，是唯一一家获得此评级的民营金融企业。2021年，我们在境内的微笑基金和境外的埃诺亚平台上线了 ESG 基金的专区，在歌飞的被投企业中出现了一批优秀的符合可持续发展原则的投资案例。诺亚和合作伙伴客户一起在腾格里沙漠种下了近60万棵梭梭树，通过诺亚方舟生物多样性保护项目识别了23个珍稀的物种。2021年经国际机构认证的 SGS 验证，诺亚获得了国际标准认证体系 ISO 最新碳检查量化与报告标准 ISO 14064比2018的全公司温室气体排放信息认证，成为中国首家通过该版本标准的企业。诺亚除了注重可持续发展和履行企业的社会责任以外，还积极推动妇女的平权。2021年，我在联合国妇女署签署并宣布了妇女原则 CEO 支持的声明。我很欣慰，截止2021年底，女性员工在诺亚全体员工中占比达到 62%， 女性高管占比达到 37%， 且无明显的性别收入差距。公司的董事会中有1/3的女性成员。同年，诺亚荣获了联合国妇女署亚太区WEPS 奖项中国透明度和报告的奖项，是中国区获得该奖项的唯一企业。
In 2021, in accordance with our planned strategic direction, we finished the reform of qualification systems for relationship managers and greatly increased the base salary for them. The company continuously makes strategic investment in 3 areas, including client interface, technology system, and investment research. In 2021, the number of Black Card clients grew significantly thanks to the strategic investment in the core client base. Client service experience has also been enhanced. In 2022, we will continue to invest in the development of core client bases and key cities, the improvement of technology and investment research capabilities, so as to pave the ground for long-term healthy and sustainable growth of NOAA while maintaining profit growth at a reasonable level. Since 2014, NOAA has been publishing the NOAA Corporate Sustainability Report for 7 consecutive years. The report was awarded the AAA high-risk rating for Excellent Corporate Social Responsibility Report by the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology at the 4th China International Import Expo, an honor for the first time to be awarded to a private financial company in China. In 2021, we launched the special ESG fund sections on our domestic FundSmile and overseas iNOA platforms. Among the Gopher investment portfolio, a number of excellent investment cases in line with the principle of sustainable development have been identified. Together with our partners and clients, NOAA has organized to plant a subsoil forest and consists of approximately 360,000 trees in the Tengger Desert and identified 23 rare species through NOAA's ARC Biodiversity Conservation Project. In 2021, verified by the international certification body SGS, NOAA obtained the company-wide greenhouse gas emission information certification of the International Standard Certification System's latest carbon verification qualification and reporting standard, ISO 14064-1/2018, becoming the first enterprise in China to pass this version of the standard. In addition to focusing on sustainable development and fulfilling corporate social responsibility, NOAA also actively promotes women's equal rights. In 2021, I signed my support statement on the principle of empowering women at UN Women. I'm very pleased that by the end of the year, female employees accounted for 62% of all employees of NOAA, female executives accounted for 37%, and there is no significant gender-based income gap. There are also 1/3 of female members of the company's board of directors. NOAA also won the UN Women Asia Pacific WEPS Award for Transparency and Reporting in China this year, marking the only enterprise to win the award in the country.
我想跟大家同步一下外国公司问责法的相关情况。美国证券交易委员会估计，法案可能会确定273个上市公司为委员会认定的发行人。我们预计，大量在香港和中国其他地区运营的美国上市公司、中概股公司将在今年4月前后向委员会提交年度报告的时候被加入这个名单。该法案是美国持续监管重点的一部分，即获取目前受其他国家法律，尤其是中国法律保护的审计和其他信息。该法案要求如果从2021年开始，这些受保护发行人的财务报表的审计师连续3年不受美国上市公司会计监督委员会PCAOB 的检查， SEC 将禁止这些公司的证券在任何美国证券交易市场交易。诺亚控股可能会在本月底向委员会提交年度报告的时候被初步认定为委员会认定的发行人。我们公司的美国存托股票可能面临2024年初从美国证券交易所退市的风险。此外，美国正在考虑立法，将不检查年数从3年缩短为2年。对此，我们将继续监控美国市场的发展，评估所有的战略选择。
I'd also like to give you an update on our status on the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act. The SEC estimated that 273 registrants might be identified as commission-identified issuers under the Act. We anticipate that a large number of U.S.-listed companies with operations in Hong Kong and other parts of China will be added once we file our annual reports with the SEC around April this year. The Act is part of a continued regulatory focus in the United States on access to audit and other information currently protected by national laws, in particular China's. The Act requires the SEC to prohibit the securities of any covered issuer from being traded on any of the U.S. securities exchanges if the auditor of the covered issuer's financial statements is not subject to inspection by the U.S. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board for 3 consecutive years, beginning in 2021. NOAA Holdings may be provisionally named as a commission-identified issuer following our filing of the annual report on Form 20-F at the end of this month with the SEC. Thus, our company's American depository shares may face the risk of being delisted from the New York Stock Exchange in early 2024. In addition, legislation is being considered in the U.S. to shorten the number of non-inspection years from 3 years to 2 years. We will continue to monitor market developments and evaluate all strategic options.
2021年，我们重新思考了诺亚的新定位，专注服务于全球高净值华人客户的百里挑一的财富管理公司，连接全球卓越资产管理公司，为全球富而有爱的高净值家族和有社会责任感的机构提供高品质的财富管理服务。2021年的诺亚可以说是轻装上阵。成熟优秀的团队，健康的收入，利润创新高，没有房地产高息债的风险敞口。我们在一个成长的行业，对常识的坚持和对市场的敬畏，在遭遇风险后深刻的反思和纠错，团队优秀的执行力，让我们在2021年这个复杂的市场保护了大多数客户的利益，为客户带来了长期的价值创造。2022年，诺亚人会继续理解和思考财富管理行业，理解市场和客户需求中的变与不变，尊重常识，敬畏市场，继续深化组织的变革，真正践行从产品驱动到以客户为中心，以生存为底线，以奋斗的专业人为本，为客户创造价值。中国的财富管理和资管行业正处于一个拐点，未来的市场将更加考验我们的资产配置专业能力、客户服务能力和科技能力。诺亚将继续朝着专精特深的方向努力，要做到1米宽1000里深，在管理中求效益，成为全球华人高净值客户百里挑一的财富管理公司。我们还有很大的增长空间和很长的路要走。今天的诺亚定位更加清晰，更加专注。诺亚的品牌内涵是财富之上更见人生智慧，以专业成就关爱之心。现在请潘青为大家介绍财务表现。
In 2021, we repositioned NOAH to focus on serving global high-net-worth clients as a 1 in 100 wealth management company by connecting leading asset managers around the world to provide high-quality wealth management services for high-net-worth and socially responsible families and institutions. In 2021, with the united efforts of a seasoned team, NOAH moved forward without burdens, achieved sustained net revenues growth, and drove our net income to a new level without any exposure to real estate high-yield bonds. We're in a rapidly growing industry. We respected common sense and market rules, reflected and corrected ourselves after the encounter of risks. So even under the complex market conditions in 2021, we still successfully protected the interests of most clients and created long-term value for them. In 2022, NOAH will continue to understand and reflect on the wealth management industry, understand the changes and invariance in the market and client needs, invariance in the market and client needs, respect common sense, respect market, continue to deepen organizational change, and truly practice from product-driven to client-centric, survival as the bottom line, and professional people-oriented to create value for our clients. China's wealth management and asset management industry is at an inflection point. The future market will further test our professional capacities of asset allocation, client service, and technology. NOAH will continue to work in the direction of being committed, specialized, and in-depth to achieve 1 meter wide and 1,000 meters deep, seek benefits in management, and become a 1 in 100 wealth management company for global high net worth clients. I'm certain that we still have a lot of growth space and we will go a long way. Today, NOAH's positioning is clearer and more focused. The brand vision of NOAH is wisdom beyond wealth. Devote ourselves to creating a legacy for generations to come. Now, please welcome our Group CFO, Pan Qing, to report on detailed financial performance in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Chair Lady. And hello, investors and analysts. Looking back at 2021, I'd say it's been a very challenging year as supply chain and inflationary pressure persisted globally amid new variants and outbreaks of COVID-19, coupled with stricter regulatory policies on many industries and a bumpy equity market. And it's also what makes it so special that the young but vibrant NOAH has accomplished a record-setting year with unprecedented achievements across revenue and profit, benefiting from a well-executed client-focused strategy and our investments in client relationships that paid off. Now, please let me walk you through the detailed financial results of the fourth quarter and full year 2021. Net revenues for 2021 were RMB 4.3 billion, up 30% year-over-year, and also the highest since listing, thanks to strong increases in performance-based income and revenue arising from the distribution of insurance products. Benefiting from the successful execution of core client strategy, one-time commissions grew 57% to RMB 1.3 billion. Recurring service fees were RMB 2.1 billion, up 9% year-over-year, as a result of a larger asset base we manage for our clients. Performance-based income achieved another milestone, amounting to RMB 780 million, more than doubled from the previous year. Specifically, long-duration private equity products and private secondary products accounted for 46% and 48% of performance-based income, respectively, again demonstrating our excellent investment and product selection capabilities that in turn translated into value creation for our clients. Income from operations was RMB 1.2 billion, down 5% year-over-year, due to increased talent retention and acquisition efforts, continued strategic investments in client experiences to better meet the evolving needs of our high net worth clients, as well as expenses incurred related to our new headquarters renovation. For instance, we increased our investments in technology investment research talents by RMB 120 million as part of talent acquisition strategy. In 2021, we continue to set aside a strategic budget totaling RMB 133 million, which accounted for about 3% of our annual net revenues, covering key initiatives including client acquisition, client interfaces, digitalization, development of new products, compliance transformation, as well as operational enhancements in key cities and regions. I'm happy to note that these investments have harvested excellent results as we have accomplished prominent improvements in technology infrastructure and investment research capabilities, as well as record-breaking growth in our core client group and overall client activities. Investment income was RMB 65 million compared to a loss of RMB 86 million from 2020. Equity and earnings affiliates more than tripled to RMB 302 million from previous year. These were mainly attributable to fair value adjustments made to the group's direct investments and the underlying assets of Gopher's funds. We recorded a non-GAAP net income of RMB 1.4 billion for the year, a 22% increase year-over-year with a profit margin of 32% and 6% over the upper end of our annual guidance. We plan to continue our strategic investment in areas where we could strengthen our unique positioning, a competitive advantage to achieve continued growth over the long term while maintaining efficient and disciplined expense management. In terms of segmented results, net revenues from the wealth management business were RMB 3.2 billion for the year, up 35% year-over-year, accounting for 74% of the total net revenues of the group. The growth in our wealth management business was supported by robust client activities and strong growth of core clients. Total active clients, including mutual fund clients during the year, was 42,764, a 25% jump from previous year. As I have mentioned previously, expanding our Diamond and Black Card client group was one of the key strategic initiatives for the year, and we have made great accomplishments on this front, with 14% and 38% increases in Diamond and Black Card clients respectively, and an 18% increase overall, by deepening our wallet share of existing clients and effective new client acquisition strategies. That includes more targeted marketing spending, more high-quality offline client activities, refined client servicing process empowered by our NOAA Triangle service model, as well as digitalized client management and analytic tools, essentially indicating effective client-centric reform. Total transaction value for 2021 was RMB 97.2 billion, up 3% year-over-year. We noticed and respected clients' flight to safety sentiment in face of market volatilities and successfully allocated more insurance products while maintaining slight increases in private equity and private secondary funds products. Net revenues from the asset management business were RMB around 1 billion, up 19% year-over-year. We continued to exit private credit assets and real estate assets in 2021 and successfully maintained a marginal growth in AUM with a net increase of 2.1% to RMB 156 billion. Since the start of the standardization transformation, Gopher has exited and distributed over RMB 32 billion of private credit assets to our clients. The mix of our AUM has been optimized as our PE and public securities AUM grew by 11% and 13% to RMB 131 billion and RMB 11 billion, respectively, while real estate AUM decreased by almost 50% to RMB 7 billion. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, our overseas business posted exceptionally strong growth, which with net revenues increased by 39% year-over-year to RMB 1 billion, driven by larger AUM and a 243% increase in performance-based income. We're proud to have a resilient and diligent team who strive to create values for our clients. By end of 2021, we offer more than 1,300 standardized products, our offshore online platform, iNOA, and we will continue to strengthen our capabilities in providing global asset allocation services for clients. When it comes to our fourth quarter results, net revenues were RMB 1.3 billion, up 32% year-over-year and 39% quarter-over-quarter, also the highest single quarter in history. One-time commissions were RMB 479 million, up 76% year-over-year and 123% quarter-over-quarter. Recurring income was RMB 558 million, up 28% year-over-year and down 2% quarter-over-quarter. Performance-based income was RMB 173 million, down 16% year-over-year, but up 111% quarter-over-quarter. Total operating costs and expenses were 1.1 billion, up 83% year-over-year and 66% quarter-over-quarter, mainly due to increased expenses related to offline client activities, including a series of Black Card Gala events, as well as increased RM commissions in relation to higher insurance sales in the quarter. As a result, operating profits were 132 million, down 61% year-over-year, 42% quarter-over-quarter. Non-GAAP net income, on the other hand, was RMB 290 million, up 10% year-over-year and 2% quarter-over-quarter, as equity earnings of affiliates increased by 300% year-over-year and 150% quarter-over-quarter to RMB 161 million, due to favorable fair value adjustments made to the underlying assets of Gopher's funds. The bumpy equity market throughout the quarter led to a swift shift in investment preference from our clients, resulted in a 13% dip quarter-over-quarter in our transaction value during the quarter. However, we're able to cater our diverse product offerings to meet with our clients' changing risk appetite, which in turn led to more allocation of insurance products and solid financial results for the quarter. In terms of balance sheet, our cash has increased to RMB 3.4 billion and total assets stood at RMB 10.9 billion as of December 2021. Our current ratio was 2.4 multiple and debt to asset ratio was 25.2%, again, with no interest-bearing debt. We're mindful about the usage of our cash when facing uncertainties, but are also considering to install long-term shareholder return mechanisms when the timing is right. Looking forward, we'll likely see another year mixed with uncertainties and market volatilities, and perhaps escalated frequency of disruptions of travels and commuting when China adjusts to post-COVID-19 times. As Chairlady has mentioned, our clients have demonstrated high risk-averse preferences, and we're committed to refining our client services and product offering, essentially creating values for clients and shareholders by enhancing our product selection, researching technology capabilities. In 2021, we successfully converted difficult market environment into record high net revenues and net income. And we believe the contribution to clients and talents are, if not the only reason. In 2022, we plan to provide more varieties of market risk neutral alternatives, such as Gopher's target strategy products, fixed income enhanced funds, and insurance products. I'm confident that we'll continue to deliver growth in 2022 by enlarging core client base, increasing market share, and gaining more wallet share of the existing clients. At the same time, we'll continue to implement a strategic spending budget in 2022 to focus on core client acquisitions, operational improvements in key cities, incubating innovative products and services, as well as key operational and digital transformations, in an effort to set structural foundation for long-term growth. With that in mind, I would like to announce that the non-GAAP net income guidance for 2022 will be in the range of RMB 1.45 billion to RMB 1.55 billion, reflecting management's current business outlook. Thank you everyone for listening. I will now open the floor for questions.
We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you may press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you are using a speakerphone, please pick up your handset before pressing the keys. If at any time your question has been addressed and you would like to withdraw your question, please press star, then 2. At this time, we will pause momentarily to assemble our roster. The first question today comes from Ethan Wang with CLSA. Please go ahead.
好的，管理层好。我这里有2个问题。第一个问题就是，从去年4季度以及今年年初至今的这个市场情况来看，我们在业务过程中有没有看到客户，对于特别是公募产品和这个私募证券产品的这个产品类型喜好的一个迁移？因为确实现在市场环境发生比较大的变化。这是第一个问题。第二个问题是我们看到这次业绩4季度的这个 cost 的增长还是比较快的。我们提到说是会进行更多的这个 talent acquisition， 更多的人员招聘。想请教一下管理层能不能帮我们可能更详细的解释一下，就是背后的这个战略考量，特别是在今年这个环境下，加上现在 COVID 的这个情况也比较严重，所以想看看我们背后对于cost 对于成本方面在今年的一个展望吧。I have 2 questions. The first one is based on the fourth quarter last year and year-to-date market environment. Have we seen any change in the product preference in terms of mutual fund and private segment products? That's the first question. Second question is that we noticed the increase of the cost has been kind of fast, very fast in the first quarter. We mentioned that it's mainly due to the talent acquisition. So just wondering if management can explain in more details our strategic consideration behind our cost growth, especially given the context of this year's market environment and the COVID situation in China. Thank you.
好，我先回答，然后请潘青补充哈。
好的。
就是我觉得就是总的来讲，我们的客户还是比较有准备吧，所以4季度你也可以看到， 我们的很多客户都转向了投一些相对比较保守的产品。我们在2021年也退出了很多过去业绩比较好的，这样的话就是落袋为安嘛，让客户。所以我们看到市场的情绪的偏好还是非常明显的。有一些呢，基本上客户就愿意拿现金，然后有一些呢就是在积极的做保险啊、资产隔离啊、配置这样的一些就是体检吧，就转换自己的配置情况。那我们也是积极配合的，所以这一轮我感觉总体还好，就是我们的客户因为有比较强的这个我们的客户的教育吧，像去年我们大推的这个目标策略啊、股债混合啊，总体还是保护了客户的资产，也就回撤相对比市场来看的话就小很多。那4季度费用的增加主要请潘金讲，那我讲几个关键，就是我们在推变革嘛，我们的变革的是分成2部分来试点的，就是给理财师端有任职资格的牵引，而不是简单的以佣金来驱动。那我们6月份做了一次50%的理财师，然后4季度又做了一次剩下的50%理财师，我觉得这个可能对费用影响比较大。那么这个成本的展望的话，也请潘青来分享哈。我觉得疫情，我个人觉得还好。第一就是大家市场已经有准备了，我们判断呢，在20大之前，可能随时随地中国都有一些城市被这个封啊，需要在线视频，但是我们的业务的延续性跟客户的沟通没有任何受到影响，包括客户的投资都已经完全是在线化了。我甚至觉得，如果这个疫情经常走走停停的话，可能这个客户在家里跟我们互动跟沟通的时间会更多。好，请潘青来分享一下你的看法。
好，那我先把汪总刚刚讲的几个点跟大家翻译一下哈。First of all, to your question, Ethan, on your first question is that it seemed pretty apparent that our clients have turned quite conservative in terms of investment preference. But we have tried our best to exit, some of the products that are already earning profits and distribute that back to our clients. But it seemed our clients are more conscious this year in terms of the health check of their overall asset allocation strategy. So obviously, we have noticed a shift to holding cash or allocating more assets towards insurance products, as well as some of the trust structural design to have segregation of assets from more risky returns. So that shift is actually pretty obvious, would say. And in terms of outlook of the COVID-19 situation, it seems that it's probably not too big a question when there probably were different cities and towns that have continuous but obviously occasional shutdowns towards the 20th annual national conference. But we also actually looking at that as an opportunity when actually people get shut off from the offline activity. They probably intend to trade and allocate a little bit more online, and also is more willing to engage in interactions with us in terms of the knowledge sharing. Okay, so that's the first question. And second question, in terms of the cost of the fourth quarter, it's actually a little bit of I guess a mix of seasonality and also the result of transformation. First of all, the fourth quarter is actually typically the conventional season where we have a pretty high number of annual client activities, including a series of Black Card Gala events in Guilin in December, as well as the separate Diamond Card client conferences across our cities. So that actually accounted for quite a bit of increase in marketing expenses. And two, it's also part of the result of transformation when we actually upgraded the compensation scheme of registered managers. As you probably are familiar with that we have increased the fixed pay of RM by close to 30%. We did the first batch in the upper half of the year, and also the rest of the 11 regions and cities actually also came into program in fourth quarter. So obviously that also increased expenses of the fourth quarter. And looking forward at 2022, we'll continue to actually monitor the expenses, but it seems the hikes in terms of in the transformation in the composition mechanism will not as peaky as in the fourth quarter. And obviously looking at the margin, we'll continue to actually maintain a pretty prudent attitude towards the uncertainties in the year of 2022.
好的，谢谢王海生，谢谢王总，谢谢潘总。That's all for your question.
谢谢一晨。
As a reminder, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. The next question comes from Emma Zhu with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
谢谢管理层给我这个提问的机会。我这边也有2个问题，然后第一个问题是想问一下，就是最近这个我们也看到这个中概股还有港股大跌，那这个会怎么样影响我们就是歌飞自身管理的这个资产的表现，以及就是3方这个管理人资产相应的表现，然后会怎样影响我们客户配置的这个积极性，还有整个客户客户对这个投资的信心。这是第一个问题。然后第二个问题的话也是关于这个费用的，就是我看到我们在4季度的时候对这个借贷的业务支持了一个比较大的这个信用损失的拨备。那之后的我们想问一下，就是说目前借贷业务这块的这个重组的进程是怎么样的？以后还会继续支持这类的拨备吗？而且在4Q 的时候，就是我们的这个 net margin 已经降到了21到22之间，之前管理层一直都是指引大概 net margin 在30到35% 之间。那个2022年的话，我们还会将 net margin 保持在这样的一个水平里吗？还有想再补充一个问题，就是刚刚我们也说了，就是在投资，然后想要增加 talent， 但是我们看到这个4季度的时候RM 的这个数量有所下降，这个是什么原因呢？那我们今年的这个 RM 的招募计划是怎么样的？So I will briefly translate my question. So the first question is that recently we see China ADR as well as Hong Kong stock pull back significantly. So how will it impact the performance of Gopher's AUM as well as the products of the third-party managers, and how will it impact the investment behaviors of your clients? Second question is related to your cost. I see that you booked a large credit cost for your lending business. So how is the progress of restructuring of your lending business, and will you continue to book more credit costs for this business going forward? And we see that your net margin declined to around 21 to 22% in fourth quarter. Previously, you guided that you want to keep the net margin between 30 to 35%. Do you continue to expect so? And we see that the number of your RM declined in the fourth quarter. What's the reason behind this? And what's your plans for RM growth in this year? Thank you.
好，那我来回答第一个问题哈，就是我觉得首先诺亚还是比较幸运吧，就我们是发生风险是在2019年嘛，就比较早就做了很多调整，所以我们最感幸运的是我们整个是没有这个房地产的存量的，这个类房债以及跟这个房地产相关的这个资产我们没有，所以也是保护了客户资产。我知道有一些私人银行这个份额是非常大的，所以也让 我们的客户哈，其实我们今年还有一个很大的客群，就是非标转标的客户。很多客户他通过这一轮的周期开始更信任我们和看到我们的这个方向是比较正确的吧。那么在这个中概股和港股大跌的这个过程，因为我们比较多的一级市场的资产，所以你也可以看到我们在2021年我们退出了很大的量、很大的规模，也收到了 carry， 其实也是让客户就落袋为安了。那还有一些没有退出的话，一般都是跨周期就比较早的，本身持有成本也比较低，所以我感觉就是市场波动肯定会对客户的资产有影响，但是总体还好哈，我们的客户，但我觉得这件事情呢也会让整个客户在财富管理的需求上产生一个拐点，就是以前的话，中国的私人银行高净值客户更多的是追求收益。高收益哈，翻多少倍，现在都是在保护自己的资产，就倾向于这个更保守吧。那么歌飞这几年的转型定位是客户的财富底仓，就是你看我们无论是做特殊机会的 secondary fund 一级市场的，然后包括做早期的这些科技基金跨周期的和我们的二级市场的目标回报、目标策略，其实都是要控制回撤和非标转标的客户资产的替代。所以去年、今年，包括我们2020年的战略产品是股债混合，去年也都是正收益的。我觉得还是对客户有非常，就是对客户资产是有保护的。那么我们有一些第三方的基金，这个像一些量化啊、CTA， 包括宏观对冲，也都还是正收益，包括昨天都还是正收益哈。就是，但是对于有一些这个持仓一些大股票的深度价值的基金，确实回撤是比较大的。我们的产品基本上都是锁3年的。我觉得在客户的话，就是没有流动性，这个也可能也是好的哈。我们相信这个市场也会往好的方向发展，但是确实最近是有回撤的。所以总体来讲，我感觉诺亚的整个 portfolio， 无论是诺亚跟歌飞的吧，都还是相对比较轻松，在今年这个市场环境下。那个其他的问题是不是请潘青沟通哈？
好，我来回答。
如果有什么我再
我先把汪总讲的第一个问题给大家翻译一下哈。First of all, I think in 2019 when we actually started transformation, it was pretty lucky that it gave us actually room and time to adjust the product mix. And as of end of 2021, we have pretty much completed the first of all private credit products as well as any credit exposure that relates to real estate, which actually made our portfolio pretty stable for our clients. And two is we also actually noticed probably there will be emergence of a new group of clients that also have experienced some of the losses that they may have experienced from other institutions where they actually have investments in the so-called non-standard private credit products. And this will be a new group of clients who will actually help to probably with their allocation of assets this year. In terms of portfolio of Gopher and Noah, as you know, that the majority of the asset, the AUM that we have is within the primary market, the PE products. But also in the year of 2021, we have exited some of the products actually for our clients to materialize the gain on the products that they have. So I think overall for the clients of Noah, they're in an okay position comparing to the volatility we have seen on the public market, especially recently. But one of the things that we have noticed, obviously, is that the demand on the asset allocation have obviously taken a turn in face of such high level of volatility and uncertainties. They probably very much risk averse and also have demonstrated high interest in terms of protection and allocation type of product. And one of the main key transformation initiative for Gopher is to become the fundamental layer of choice for a client's asset portfolio. For example, the secondary PE products, which actually generates quicker cash returns for our clients, as well as the target return products, and also some of the balanced portfolio products that generates moderated returns, but at the same time probably give them a better stability in terms of the asset. And we did notice that some of the products that we help distribute, some of the products actually still show a pretty resilient return, including the CTA type of products and also multi-strategy products that actually still have maintained a small but positive return as of yesterday, recently. So obviously that strategy is working in the highly volatile market. But again, I think the fact is for some of the deep value blue chip type of products probably are experiencing a little bit difficulty. But again, some of the major hedge funds we held for our clients, actually has a 3-year lockup period. Probably at this time of uncertainty and volatile period, it probably also provides another layer of protection for clients' assets. So overall, for the clients that NOAH has, we believe they're probably in an okay and better position than the rest. So moving on to your second question, Emma. In terms of the credit loss on the loan products, is that we actually proactively have retracted from the original loan products. If you recall, in 2019 that we actually have issued products on the loan on the back of some of the real estate products, and we have decided, moving on to your second question, we have decided to actually cease the offering overall of similar products. So in terms of restructuring, we're probably going to continue to exit this type of products. And we have pretty much, based on the valuation model that we have worked with our audit, the majority of the credit loss have been computed. We don't foresee a large increase in that type of reserve going forward as we are now continuing to expand that business. What was your third question, Emma?
The third question is about your net margin. You previously guided to keep it at 30 to 35%, but it falls to 21% in fourth quarter. And why there is a decline in the number of relationship managers in fourth quarter? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, for the net margin, as I have actually explained in Ethan's question, first of all, it's actually a pretty concentrated marketing season. So basically a series of marketing conferences, including the offline Black Card Gala and also the galas in separate cities. So that's one thing. And two is that the increase in RM's fixed pay. So that obviously the last batch, which is also half of the population of RM that joined the reform, also actually added a little bit pressure on the cost in a single quarter. But when we are talking about the net margin, we usually take a look at the margin from the annual budget process. We still actually aims to maintain around 30% or to 35% operating margin for the year. So I guess fourth quarter is a low quarter, but overall we're probably, I think close to 28, 29% of overall operating margin. So from that standpoint, that's still the goal that we're maintaining. And two is that in terms of RM, we did have some proactive adjustments in terms of the RM mix, as we have mentioned in the transformation. When we're actually forming the triangles, we are actually only appointing, the high-performing registered managers into the direct client interface, or AR, account representative. So there has been quite a bit of regrouping activities, especially when absorbing the last half of the RM Group into the reform. So there's becoming a little bit of volatility in terms of it's a mix between, when they're adjusting to the new reform and also the proactive adjusting on the low performing, relatively low performing RMs. But at the same time, we'll continue to put in, pretty reasonable amount of budget for recruiting in 2022. And we believe actually the market is a good timing for us to probably heighten the investment in terms of talent acquisition in 2022. So we'll see a moderate increase in the total number of RMs. But I guess at the same time, we're actually very being selective in terms of getting some of the talents they probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to acquire in a normal market condition.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem, Emma.
As a reminder, if you have a question, please press star then 1 to be joined to the queue. The next question comes from Andrew Carrion with Emmett Value. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for taking my question. I was hoping to ask a question on capital allocation. You all have an exceptionally strong and clean balance sheet, which I think is a testament to really the quality of the business, with over $500 million in US dollar cash, and your headquarters, which I think you purchased just this past year, against virtually no debt on the business. And even with the strategic investments in talent that you've made, it sounds like you're projecting still quite a healthily cash flow positive year next year. With the volatility that we've seen in the share price, you could spend just a bit of that cash and have that be quite accretive if it goes towards share repurchases. And I know at the end of 2020, I think you all spent about $100 million on share repurchases at prices that were a 30 to 40% premium to where the stock price closed today. So I was hoping to understand the willingness to maybe look at capital allocation in the terms of some return to shareholders in that form.
Thank you, Andrew. 王总，那这个我来回答。那个 Andrew 问的是有关是这个我们的资本政策。So thanks, Andrew. I guess to put it in a simple way, that's definitely one of the considerations that we have, and also one of the topics we have discussed extensively on internal meetings. So obviously, I'm very conscious of the ROE of our stock, and at this time, it seems it's at a very low point. And I guess I'm actually not at the convenience of comment too much on this, but I just wanted to assure the shareholders and analysts we're definitely keeping that in mind. And when the timing is right, we are planning to install some shareholder return mechanism that will be probably including all kinds of tools that we have, but we have to wait for the right timing and understand I guess it's also a reflection our management style that we're trying to keep abundance of liquidity to cope with the uncertainty of the market, but at the same time, I'm also very conscious of creating value and also returns for our shareholders.
Okay, that's helpful to understand. Thank you.
首先我也想说两句哈，请潘青给我翻译。首先我们也看到市场公司这个股价波动嘛，我自己觉得现在跟我们的这个，我自己对公司还非常乐观的，我觉得也可能是我们最好的时候。第一是我们是轻装上阵，第二我们确实是在这2年没有浪费我们在19年碰到的这个危机，真正的从产品的销售驱动到转变为客户为中心，在这一轮的大跌的过程中保护了客户的资产。 我相信就是我们的这个客户专黑客户数的增长，以及客户对我们的回归信任，可以推动我们长期持续的发展。从我的角度的话，我也是公司的大股东，我非常关注股东的利益，而且我从我个人的角度，我也愿意就是我觉得应该要分红了哈，这个市场我也是非常这个积极推进的，所以也请股东放心。
Okay. So, Chair Lady Wang actually supplemented some color on this question. First of all, I think, especially, on the side of the stock price, I think for the Chinese SPIs overall, it's at a low point. That's probably majority of the value is not correctly reflected. But for management and for Chair Lady, we're still very optimistic about our future. And especially the industry and also the company's position in this particular situation. And I guess we're lucky that we started transformation probably 2 years earlier, and we have no burden, no matter from balance sheet side or portfolio of AUM, and we actually managed to protect the majority of the clients' assets through this wave of uncertainty. Is probably some of the volatility, and as you could see, evidenced by the returning of especially the core group of clients, which is probably the competitive, where the competitor is putting all the resources trying to gain, when we still made about 18% increase in core client group in the year of 2021. So I guess we're in a pretty good position. And also, Chair Lady Wang mentioned that, she is also the biggest shareholder of the company, obviously, very much conscious of the value creation and return for our shareholders.
Thank you for the additional color, very helpful. And yes, I think it's undoubted that, operationally, you all have been exceptional in terms of execution, and as a shareholder, it's been fun to watch, and congratulations on all the success. I think from a shareholder's perspective, seeing some of those positive signs on a capital allocation front would be the cherry on top, and even more pointing towards the optimism. So we'll look forward to the future with much joy. So thank you very much for answering the questions.
Great. Thanks, Andrew.
This concludes our question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back over to Grant Pan for any closing remarks.
Great. I don't have any more remarks. And thank you, everyone, for your time. And, we have separate conferences scheduled, and we'll talk to you soon on those calls. Thank you.
The conference is now concluded. Thank you for attending today's presentation. You may now disconnect.